Well, what's up, in there, guys? Brian here, the Three Topics Gamer, and I have a quick little, well, maybe not a quick little, might be somewhat extensive, but just a little topic discussion video that I want to upload just to kind of share my opinions on something that a viewer of mine actually asked me in my latest Q&A series. And the more I thought about it, it was a very kind of sensitive topic because it brings up some real legitimate fears that I have in terms of the direction that the industry of gaming may actually go. And if things continue to go down a certain path, which I generally am afraid of, then that might have serious repercussions in terms of, things that I do, in terms of, how much time I may remain as a gamer. But again, while this may not necessarily apply to the upcoming generation too much, I am thinking, even probably another 7 or 8 years ahead, because, we are starting to see a trend happening that's kind of like kicking into full force in this upcoming generation that we started seeing a little bit in this generation that we're currently in now, and I'm just afraid of what is in store for us in terms of the next generation. And I just want to go over just a number of main points as to why I personally am not a fan of pure digital consoles, and just the ramifications in terms of what it could mean for me and my channel, and just how my experience of gaming may be moving forward. Now, my biggest criticism about pure digital gaming is simply the fact that these pure digital consoles just limit what you can really do with them. Now, some people, again, this is not going up against anybody who supports this. I'm just simply saying that from my personal experience, a pure digital console can do very, very little for me. Because when I have all this physical media that I want to use, or I want to put forward and use, it's useless for a digital-only console. Now, perhaps some people have already recognized this, because from the reports that I've seen for the pre-orders for like the PlayStation 5 and I believe the next Xbox, most people have decided to go with the versions that come with a disc drive instead of the one that are purely digital. And I have heard that some people do all their stuff with digital, and that's okay, but that is a direction I am a little bit scared of. So, like, for example, like if I have some movies that I want to watch, well, instead of, I have 3 different streaming services, but there's a lot of movies that I want to enjoy, or maybe I'm in the mood to watch that I can't watch, and why would I want to purchase them again on some website when I can watch them right now? If I choose to want to watch something like Summer War, or Terminator 2, or Dante's Inferno, why would I want to have to try to buy them again online, digitally, when I can just pop them in and play them right now? That's just more convenient. And when it comes to content for my channel in terms of gaming, if the price of gaming begins to increase, then it's going to be considerably harder for me to want to play games or even to upload content, because, gaming as it is right now is already expensive. But with prices increasing, and with digital-only content, meaning that, you're going to be entering a period of time where you can't even rent games. And I'm telling you, for the past 10 years, since I was even doing this channel, renting games and then keeping copies of those games has really been the primary driving force for how my gaming libraries between the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 have been able to grow. I can openly say that, using like a rental service like GameFly has been an absolute godsend, because it has allowed me to get games close to release, review them, and then if I want to keep them, I can then purchase them at a sales price, and then I can pretty much get a brand new copy, because when those first wave of copies of those games come out, I know that I'm getting a brand new copy because I'm the first person who played that specific copy, and that has been very, very beneficial for me. But for digital, let's say like this upcoming series of games, if this was during the pure digital era and these games were $70 each, then that would mean that in order for me to play and review 4 games in the span of, say, 2 weeks, that would cost me roughly close to almost $300, and that is ridiculous. Or I can just go to a rental service and then rent 3 of those games, and then maybe buy 1 of them, and then, what if I choose to keep some of these games? I can. And if I don't want to keep them, I can return them. And I can tell you, one of the worst experiences that I ever had, especially during this current generation, was buying something like No Man's Sky. Now, if this was a purely digital game, I would be stuck with this I would be stuck with this on my profile forever, and I can never get my money back. But luckily for me, even though some people criticize GameFly for their trade-in values, what I was able to do with this was I was actually able to trade in the copy of No Man's Sky, trade that in, and pick up a copy of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and Tomb Raider. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would say that was one hell of a trade. Heck, if this was digital, this wouldn't be possible. It just seems that when you stick to pure digital content, it just reduces it. It makes it harder to do things. It makes it more expensive, and and that's just a direction I don't support. And if my fears do end up being confirmed, with if we jump like 7 or 8 years ahead when the next wave of new consoles come up, and let's say the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox are pure digital consoles, that's probably something I'm just not going to support, as crazy as that sounds. And the idea that, heck, by then I'll be like 37 or 38, I mean, heck, I'll be practically almost an old man. Is this something, do I want to continue going down this path of gaming? And chances are the odds will be probably no. I mean, I'm not going to stick to digital only content and expect to pay more for it, and with me not being able to do anything with it. I mean, that just sucks. I mean, another thing that would immediately go away is picking up collector's editions. I mean, I love picking up collector's editions. In fact, the first collector's edition I ever got was the Pandora's Box edition for God of War back in 2010, and I've been picking up collector's editions ever since. But heck, if it's purely digital content, collector's editions would go away. Now, I'm telling you this right now, that when it comes to actually purchasing brand new games at retail prices, for this generation, that was relatively rare. I hardly ever purchased anything at like $60 at pure retail, unless it was a collector's edition or it came with something that I thought was worthy for that extra price. Other than that, the majority, I would say 80% of my games came from rentals that I decided to keep. I mean, it's amazing how most new copies that were usually $60 if you went to a retail store, I was able to get for like almost like $43, and I thought that was especially since I've been with my rental service for like over 10 years, so I get these little discounts, and they've really paid off over the past, I'd say, 7 years, and I've just really enjoyed that. But heck, if you make a purely digital system, I can't rent games, I can't trade them away, and there's a lot of games that, heck, I don't want to feel like I regret paying money for, and if I do, I want the choice to get rid of them. And on top of that, a purely digital console would be hard to play with friends with. I mean, trust me, I've seen what the size of this PlayStation is going to be, and it is going to be massive. I do not want to have to carry that thing with me when I travel to go play at a friend's house. It would just be so much easier to just take my copy of a game that I would like us to play together and take it with me on my trip, and then just put it into his console so we can play it together. That's so much more convenient and far less expensive, and I would even say a lot less stressful in terms of packing, and it takes up far less space. But heck, that is what digital gaming is going to give us if it continues to go down that direction. And it just seems that purely digital gaming consoles are just going to be a lot more stressful. Now, trust me, there are some people that support this, and if they do, that's perfectly fine. But I will say this. A viewer of mine actually asked me a question of what it would take for me to switch over from Sony, since I've been a Sony person for like almost 20 years, and convert over to Microsoft. And I gave kind of like a throwaway answer, but I will say this, a purely honest answer, it would be that if we find out that the next generation of PlayStation, if that is a purely digital console, and the next Xbox does what it did this generation in terms of giving you a choice, you can either stick with getting a disc drive or go to digital. If I find out that the next generation Xbox gives me the option to play games on disc, I will pick up an Xbox and not get a PlayStation, because I like holding copies. I like collecting things. I don't like just having to spend money on one digital version and then you being stuck with it forever. I think that very, very sucks, because even now, it's very rare that I even pick up digital copies of anything unless it's free and I get them from my PlayStation Plus subscription. So, yeah, I just think that for the type of gamer that I am, and in terms of how I, review games and get content and record it and then collect all this stuff, I just don't think that a purely digital console world is something that I really want to be a part of. And it just provides more problems, and it'd just be a lot more stressful than, if I just could have physical copies of games. Because trust me, I'm an old school gamer. I've been playing games since the Super NES, and there's something about that that just sticks with me, and it's something that I will always stand with probably till, I'm a very old man if gaming continues to give me the option to choose between digital and physical copies. But yeah, that's just a quick, just little video just going over my personal criticisms about digital gaming. But I would really like to know if you guys have any problems that you think would come up with purely digital consoles. Let me know. And if you do plan on getting a digital console, I would like to also know that as well too in the comments down below. So please share your thoughts on this personal topic in the comments down below with me and everyone else. If you happen to enjoy this little discussion video, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and press the subscribe button if you happen to enjoy this video and would like to see more content from me. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.